Chapter 5, Test Review for Geometry. Make sure that you know the difference between incenter, circumcenter, centroid, and orthocenter. Make sure that you also have a ruler and graph paper for this test review. Number 1, perpendicular bisector. Remember that perpendicular means 90 degrees and it has to cut in half a side, not an angle. This is not an angle bisector. So I see a 90 degrees here at N and I see a 90 degrees here at M. But the only place that it cuts a side or part of a side in half is right here. So LM is our perpendicular bisector. Number 2, we know that the perimeter is 34 and we want to find the value of x. We don't know that these two are equal. You can't assume that. Yes, it looks equal, but we don't know. So we're going to add up all of our sides and set it equal to 34. So let's create an equation. And let's go ahead and simplify that left side. Let's combine our x's and combine our numbers. Okay, now we've got a simple two-step equation and we can solve for x. Minus 4 and then divide by 6. And x equals 5. Now, is that the only thing that we needed to find or do? No, it does say find the value of x, but we also need to describe the relationship between RS and PQ. Now, to me, it looks like these two lines are perpendicular. If they are, PR would equal RQ. So let's figure out what RQ is. If RQ is 10, then these are congruent and these would be perpendicular. So let's substitute in 5 for x. So substituting it in, we get 4 times 5, which is 20, minus 10, which is 10. RQ is 10, PR is 10. These are congruent. So therefore, because these are congruent, this is a perpendicular bisector of PQ, or PQ is perpendicular to RS. That's the other half of the question. Number 3, N is the centroid. What does centroid mean? It's a vocabulary word from chapter 5. Centroid is the place where all of your medians meet. So all of your lines here, JK is a median of this side. All of them meet at this side, at this point N. It also means that there's a relationship of a median, that this median, JK, is broken down into thirds. Okay, that means that this little piece, KN, is 1/3 of JK, and it means that NJ is 2/3 the length of the median, JK. So I have here KN equals 4. If KN equals 4, how long is NJ going to be? It's going to be twice as long, or 8. That's how long NJ or JN is going to be. Number 4, you need graph paper for it. So go ahead and plot D, E, and F onto your graph. I'm going to put my graph here so you can see it. And make sure that you leave enough room. There's no negatives. So you don't need to go too negative. Make sure you're using a ruler on this because we are finding an intersection. So we've got D is at 412. Right here is point D. E is at 14.6. Here's E. And then F is at -6.2. Use your ruler to connect all of those points to make a triangle. And we are asked to find the circumcenter. So what is the circumcenter? The circumcenter is where all of your perpendicular bisectors meet. So if you think about that, not only are we going to bisect or cut in half each of these sides, but it has to be perpendicular to the slope of each of these sides. So the easiest thing to do first is to find where is the midpoint of FE, where is the midpoint of DE, and where is the midpoint of DF. That's our first step, is find all the midpoints. We can do that by using our midpoint formula. So let's do FE first. FE, our midpoint formula, says to take both of our points, and F is -6.2, E is 14.6, and we're going to take our x's and average them, and take our y coordinate and average them. Let's simplify. And now let's find that point on our graph. Right there is the midpoint of FE. Okay? Let's do the same thing with this side right here, DE. D is the point 412. Same formula. So DE is 14 plus 4 divided by 2, 6 plus 12 divided by 2. That gives us the point 9, 9. On our triangle, let's find 9, 9. Right there. There's the midpoint of DE. We have one more side to find the midpoint. That's this line right here, FD, this side of the triangle. So let's find the midpoint of FD. So we have 4 plus -6 and 2 plus 12. So that's the point -1, 7. on our triangle. It's right there. Okay? We have all of our midpoints, so we know that it is going to bisect each of our sides. But to find the circumcenter, which remember could be outside the triangle, on the triangle, or inside, we have to find the perpendicular. We have to make each of these be perpendicular. So we're going to use our slope. So let's start with our first line that we did, FE. The slope of FE, or rise over run, if we go from this point to our midpoint, our slope is up 2 over 10. If the slope is 2 over 10, what would be the perpendicular slope? Yeah, it would be negative 10 over 2, which is the same as negative 5. So from here, I'm going to rise positive 5, and I'm going to go negative 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative 1, this point right here. I'm going to use my ruler so that it's straight, because I'm going to find an intersection, and I'm going to sketch this. Now, because my circumcenter could be outside, I want to make my line go outside the triangle. Okay, let's talk about the slope of DE. The slope of DE, rise 3, run negative 5. So if the slope is negative 3/5, what would be the perpendicular slope? Yeah, opposite reciprocal, 5/3. So I'm going to go negative 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'm going to go negative 3, 1, 2, 3, because negative over negative is positive. Use my ruler, and I'm going to sketch that line, and I can already see where they're going to intersect right here. But I'm going to make sure by doing this third side. Okay, this third side, FD, I'm going to rise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My slope is 1. So the perpendicular slope is negative 1. So negative 1, positive 1 right here. Let's use our ruler. Line them up. Okay, I should see them all meet right here at this point. Okay, I need to know what is the ordered pair of that point. So I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's halfway. So 4.5. And then I'm going to go up 1.5. That is my circumcenter. 4.5, 1.5. Okay, number 5. Okay, so what do I know about altitudes? Well, I know that it's the same as the height, but I also know that it makes a right angle with the base. So if RU and TS make a right angle, I need to find out what X is. I can do that by setting it equal to 90. Let's go ahead and solve for X. Add 10. Divide by 5. And X equals 20. Is that what I needed to find? Yep, that's all I needed to find. Okay, number 6. In order to write an inequality here, I need to know the angle measures of the angle opposite. I could say that yes, 7z appears to be longer, but I don't know that for sure. There's no facts backing that up. So I need to sort of give some proof as to why I think 7z is longer. So I have here an exterior angle. I can find this angle right here by saying 180 minus 150, and that is 30 degrees. Okay, I can find this angle right here by adding these two and subtracting it from 180. Which gives you 93 degrees. So using our angle side relationships, which is bigger, 30 or 93? Since 93 is bigger, the side opposite it, 7z, is bigger. So our inequality, 7z is greater than x minus 5. And here's my proof. Angle side relationships. We're going to use that to do number 7. I want to list the angles from smallest to largest, so I need to find the smallest side. Here's the smallest side, angle opposite, angle T. Which angle is the next smallest? Angle V. And then which angle is the third smallest? Obviously the last one. Number 8, list the sides in order. So I need to look for the smallest angle. Angle G is the smallest, so the side opposite, FH, is the smallest. Which side is the next smallest? HG. And then last is the last side, FG. Okay, number 9 is a little tricky because you have two triangles and you want to name the longest segment. If I look at this triangle here, LKN, I see 96 degrees is the largest angle, which means LN is the largest side. But if I look at LMN, I see that 70 is not the largest angle. 80 is. Because 80 is, it means that LM is longer than LN. So LM is my answer. Number 10, you're writing an assumption. So remember, with an assumption, you want to assume that the conclusion is false. Here's my conclusion. N is an even number. So for it to be false or contradict, I want to say N squared is not an even number. You do not want to put that it is odd, because it could be 0. 0 is not even or odd. Alright? Number 11. I want to write the assumption on this one. So here is my conclusion. AD is an altitude. So my assumption, AD is not an altitude. Okay, number 12. This one confuses people a lot because this is not if-then format. This is already in a given and a proof. When you are starting an indirect proof, what the heck? There. Your job is to prove that the proved part is false. You're not assuming that it's a contradiction. So the first statement or the assumption you want to make is that this is false. So the assumption is you're just restating the proof. SV is perpendicular to PQ. By proving this false, we're going to then finish our proof. Number 13. We want to find the range of values of x. We know that we have a side that's 14, 29, and then a mystery side. So we're going to use our triangle inequality theorem. We did this in class on today, which is yesterday if you're watching it on Tuesday. 14 plus 29 have to be greater than x. Simplify. 43 is greater than x. There's one side. We also have to compare the first and the last. 14 plus x is greater than 29. Solve for x. X has to be greater than 15. And we also want to double check that third side because maybe x could be a greater than 12. We don't know. So we're going to set up that last one. 29 plus x is greater than 15. Subtract. Okay, since x represents the length of the side, does it make sense for x to be negative? Since this right here is irrational, we are not going to include it. So our range of values for x are 15 to 43. Okay, 14. You have to know what this word median, middle, just like mode, median, range, you have to know those words. Median of ABE, so that means AD is going to be equal to DE. If AD equals 8, then DE is going to equal 8. We just proved it by using substitution. 15. Ray YW bisects this angle. An angle bisector says that these two angles are now equal. Therefore, these two segments are also equal. So to find x, let's set these two equal to each other. 3x minus 20 equals 2x plus 15. Solve for x. Add 20. Minus 2x. And is that what we wanted to find? Yes. There's our answer. Okay, number 16. Oops. We're wanting to write an inequality. So here's angle 1. Remember, it corresponds to the side opposite. Angle 2 corresponds to the side opposite. This talks about using your angle side relationships. So if 9 is smaller than 10, guess what? Angle 1 is smaller than angle 2. measure of angle 1 is smaller than the measure of angle 2 because of our angle side relationships. Same thing for 17. We have BC that corresponds to 24 degrees. We have ED that corresponds to 30 degrees. 24 is smaller than 30, so BC is smaller than ED. Okay, 18, 19, and 20 are proofs, filling in the blanks. Number 18, why can I say that these are congruent? Well, I have said that K is the midpoint, so because it's the midpoint, I know these two segments are congruent, and that is because of midpoint theorem. Number 3, MK equals MK. Are you congruent to yourself? Yes, so that is reflexive. Okay, and the last one, number 20. Anytime we are comparing sides of a triangle to be larger or smaller, we need to think about how. Okay, we have talked about the measure of an angle, and so this talks about the hinge theorem. The hinge theorem, think about a door hinge. The angle opposite the sides, there's a relationship between them. This, number 20, hinge theorem. Make sure that you know the converse of the hinge theorem also for your test. Okay, 21 through 25, these are things that you need to know what these vocabulary words mean. The centroid of a triangle is 2/3 the distance from each vertex or corner to the midpoint of the opposite side. It is where all of the medians meet. The circumcenter is equidistant. That means equal distances from each vertex, not side. But it is where all of the perpendicular bisectors meet. Number 23, the incenter of a triangle is equidistant from each side. It is where all of the angle bisectors meet. 24, the orthocenter is where all of the altitudes meet. Make sure you not only know what these words mean, centroid, circumcenter, incenter, and orthocenter, but you need to know the difference between median, a perpendicular bisector, angle bisector, and an altitude. You need to know what those are for your test. And last but not least, number 25. When completing an indirect proof, what is the first step? So this is not talking about what do you assume. This is saying you already have a given and a proof. You're completing a proof. The first step is always to prove the conclusion false. By doing that, you're using a contradiction. Okay? Make sure that you circle any problems you want to go over in class. We will play a game and have additional review problems tomorrow in class. Make sure that you have your note card ready for Friday. You will not be allowed to make one in the first 5 minutes of class. It needs to be all ready to go. Have a beautiful, beautiful Tuesday. Stay warm.